members of the Italian-American community didn't know anything about the phenomenon of Guidos. They thought it was just an ethnic derogatory term.
We don't want to lose something that has been developed within our own social identification process and have it rebranded by people who are not Italian.
In my own mind, this creates more of what I have considered for many years a systemic problem in our society in which Italians and Italian Americans are not perceived in an appropriate light based on their achievements, accomplishments, and contributions in America. And while this particular show is geared to young people, it shows young people in a form of behavior that, in my opinion, is not representative of the entire Italian-American youth culture today.
When the Sons of Italy, the Order Sons of Italy in America and the National Italian-American Foundation and UNICO and other national organizations protested what MTV did in putting this show on the air, they were acting very much within the scope of their mission, which is to basically promote Italian-American social advance. And I have no quarrel with that. Other people seem to think that discussing this question in public was somehow a mistake or an act of treason against Italian-American solidarity. And I find that really hard to follow. When an issue like this arises, which has very much to do with the very meaning of the label Italian-American, it's inevitable that there's going to be some debate. And what the Calandra Institute in this case managed to do was to stage a discussion which was at a very, I thought, very high level of analysis. The real focus of the debate was not the term Guido, but rather the MTV show Jersey Shore and the way in which it conflated the meaning of the term Italian-American and the meaning of the term Guido. In fact, Italian-American is a heavily capitalized social category that is quite different from this urban youth culture that goes by the name Guido. So when you put the two of them together, you seem to confuse the one with the other. And that produced a lot of anxiety in a lot of people and a lot of anger in a lot of people, and it's not hard to understand.
The Guido culture has been part of the Italian-American culture in New York, particularly in New York City, for decades. But as I said in my talk earlier, it kind of grew out of three things: teenage anxiety, ethnic subculture, and also music. We struggled with that, and then along came, as I said, the movie Saturday Night Fever. And here was a new way for Italian-American youth to look. The Tony Manero look, the slicked back hair and the fashion sense that became ours and ours alone. And so it was not a negative thing to be a Guido or a Guidette.
I think that this conference was a good occasion to start a study, an academic study, why not, on this phenomenon. I think that this subculture, the Guido subculture, could deserve a deeper analysis, even because before any kind of criticism or whatever reactions, I think you should understand and clearly define what you are interested or what you are investigating.
Young people need to exaggerate and identify, and I think that's why we are looking at this culture. What I was struck with was the fact that this Guidette culture is fighting against the assimilation. There's a need for a connection with their Italian-American background. It's not necessarily the way in which I would manifest that need, but we have to be, I think, respectful of the fact that youth need something to hold on to.
And I think some of the tension with the Italian-American establishment, the Italian-American elite who objected to the Jersey Shore, I think they're also objecting to a kind of Italian-American culture from a point of a highly assimilated Italian-American perspective. And I think that's why it was important to do this, almost to educate Italian-Americans about Italian-American culture.
The negative aspect needs to be kind of balanced out. And that's my purpose here today, to balance out the Guido subculture, to explain all of the different things about it, to explore it, not to shun and shame. Another thing to understand, Jersey Shore was edited down into these 6 episodes from hours and hours and hours of clips of all different kinds of things. There was a scene of a genuine Italian-American family dinner, and that scene lasted all of 5 minutes, and the rest of the whole episode was out on the boardwalk looking for fist fights and let's get drunk.
Well, I've been interested in it for more than 20 years because it's there, because it's an expression of being Italian-American. It's an expression of being Italian-American that comes out of New York City's Italian-American neighborhoods. I agree with the characterization of this collateral damage that MTV is in a position to cause, and probably has caused. It was irresponsible in not taking that into account.
Now, I say probably some people know, I wrote a play about the life of Fellini, which became the musical 9, and I kept the name Guido. In Europe and in Italy, the name Guido is what we say a badge of honor, sophistication. I know a psychoanalyst, I know 2 lawyers, and mothers like the word Guido, to guide, the leader.
We have to find now a link between the new Italy and these people, otherwise they're destined to remain instrumentalized by an underculture. They have an identity crisis profound.
I'm standing here at this age and I see these things called Guidos and Goombas, and I hear all these things. And in a sense, they are a negative image to me because I grew up believing that kind of a concept was negative. And clearly, after hearing this gentleman speak today, it is not negative to him, and it is not negative to a lot of other people in the audience today.
But I think it is very, very important, and in my role where I am at an academic institute, once now at Montclair and then once at Rutgers, being someone in the middle, always playing a blessed is the peacemaker between the academic community and some of the Italian-American communities, and they look at the world through a different lens.